What's going on, mates? Yeah, we're gonna drop that for today's video. What's going on, everybody? I hope you all are having a great day. It's been a wild few months and things are finally starting to settle down. We've been traveling all over the place. As soon as we got back to Ohio, we went to Tennessee, did some street riding, and now we are back here in Ohio for a little bit. But I figured I would give you all an update on the FE350, Alexis's KTM 350, and just let you know overall how I am still feeling about the bikes. A lot of you were taking bets on how long they would last, and I would be a liar if I said that I didn't contemplate selling them already. But we'll get into that here in a second. I just wanted to touch on a few things because YouTube fails to promote any other video besides me sitting down talking about bikes. It is definitely frustrating when you put a lot of time into editing these videos and creating these stories and sharing them with the world, and it only ends up getting 1,500, 2,000 views. I know they'll accumulate some more views over time, and I always try to say that it's not about the views, but at the end of the day, this is my primary source of income. This is my main gig. So I kind of have to give YouTube what they want in a sense, which is a shame because it takes a lot of the fun out of it for me. That's why I renamed the channel to Adventure Daily, is because I wanted to focus more on the adventures rather than the bikes. And I might have to make a second channel for that stuff or just figure out a way to incorporate it differently. So it looks like we're gonna be migrating back to more topic-based videos. YouTube just does not know what the hell to do with me. From dirt bikes to frickin' scooters, that's all we've been doing the past few videos, is riding our scooters. Lex got the Trail 125. That video ended up doing pretty good, and I actually have a lot of parts sitting in the garage for that thing, and we're gonna be doing a little off-road build on it, so I am excited for that. We're gonna be doing a lot more Trail 125 content, so drop a comment down below if that's something that interests you. We also have a box of parts for the 350s, so shout out to AOMC. I'll get into that later. But if you could do me a favor, subscribe real quick if you haven't already, and look through some of my past videos. I think you'll get a kick out of them, especially the last few where we were on the scooters just doing absolutely mad things. God, I find myself talking like that too much. Bloody hell, mate. But yeah, let's get back to the 350s. So I bought this bike with the intention of being a do-it-all machine. And that right there is a red flag for a lot of people because there is no such thing. It's gonna lack in some category, and it does. But I really wanted a bike catered more towards off-road. I was coming from the 300L, so I wanted more of an off-road capable machine, better suspension, better power, weight. Everything about this bike is better, except the street performance. So I still wanted something that I could hop on a road and get to a trail, which you can do that on pretty much any bike that's plated. But this bike does a decent job. I will say it's pretty brutal over 60, 65 miles an hour. It is just not happy. This thing is screaming. I do need to balance the front wheel. I know I had a lot of comments about that in that first little dual sport ride we went on. But overall, I will say that I am very happy with the bike. It is great off-road. I've had a blast riding it, and it really did live up to my expectations. The suspension is great, especially after I adjusted it. I went back and tweaked with the clickers a little bit more, still trying to get it dialed. But even with stock internals, I'm like 200 pounds with gear on, and it's been stiff enough. I still would like to get it done someday, but it's not cheap, and I'm still kind of teetering on what to do next. But for now, I'm just gonna ride it as is. I'm not doing any competitions or anything hardcore. But we did go on a pretty brutal ride a couple weeks ago. I still have a bunch of footage that I need to cut up from that trip. But that was really the first time that I put it through some hard enduro environments, a lot of log jumps, a few hill climbs, some gnarly ravines, and I was a little disappointed at the end of the day. So a lot of you know, a couple years ago, I had a KTM 250 XCW. It's a 2018, last year for the carb. Absolutely loved the bike. Went out to Colorado, rode some beautiful single track, and overall, that bike was just the definition of perfection. And it was just so easy to ride in the gnarly stuff. And with this, I will say, you gotta work a little bit harder. There's a lot more clutch work involved at the low speed just to keep it running. And it's a 4-stroke, that's just the nature of the beast. Dude, this bird is annoying as hell. Yo! And a few of my buddies have 2-strokes. I was riding with them, and at the end of the day, I was kind of bummed out. I was just like, man, why did I make this choice? And I just got to remember that this is temporary. I do plan on going back on the road where I'm going to need more of that road performance, which is the main reason why I bought this. But with the 6-speed wide ratio on the XCW model, you can do pretty much everything on the road that you can with this. So I was starting to have a little bit of regret on not just getting a 300 two-stroke. My argument was just the better road performance, the longer service intervals. So I really just think I need to wait it out, and overall, in the long term, I will be happy with this machine. The terrain is a lot different out west, which is where I plan on spending a lot of my time. It's a lot more wide open. You have to travel further distances. But here in Ohio, we just got gnarly single track and hill climbs, and I've got another bike that I plan on building that should get my fix for the two-stroke. So as of right now, we're still gonna hang on to it, put some money into it, and still give it the benefit of the doubt. Overall, they are fantastic machines. The suspension is great. I love the power that the 350 delivers. It is literally as close to a 300 two-stroke that you can get. I never found a situation where I wanted more power, and it's really manageable at low speeds. So that is the main reason why I went with the 350 over the 500. I know I've also had a lot of comments, and we'll talk about the 500. You saw it in the title. Do I regret not going with the 500? Yes and no. I wouldn't say regret it. There was no real way for me to try one long term, and I knew that I would be happy with this regardless. Like, I wouldn't regret it as much versus the 500 if I got it and then I was riding it at low speeds and I had to work the clutch so much more, and then I would get frustrated. Then I would have regretted that. So I'm still happy that I went with the 350. Overall, do I think the 500 is a better, more versatile bike? Absolutely. You just get so much better performance on the road, and it just makes a better all-around bike and better dual sport. For me though, I don't plan on doing a lot of dual sport riding, so I am still happy that I went with the 350, but I always have that little voice in my head. I think it's gonna be an itch that I'll have to scratch. But I think for a lot of people, the 500 is a better option. A lot of people get hung up on the extra power. The thing you gotta realize is it's usable power. It's not big, it's not scary, they're still manageable. I will say KTM, Husqvarna, they do have some of the best performing bikes, but it just goes both ways. Like, there are many things on this bike that I wish were different. They did as much as they could to shave weight off of these bikes. So there's just little things like the kickstand. The kickstand design just bothers me. It is not good, but you can't really get too mad because it saves weight. Everything they do is for weight savings. And that's why I got away from the big heavy dual sports to begin with. So I just always got to remind myself of that. As far as the confidence I feel and the reliability of the engine, I'm definitely not sold. I really miss that about the Japanese bikes, the 450L, the 300L, of course. There's just a sense of confidence that you get with those bikes. Just keep some relatively fresh oil in them, and you know they're gonna run for a very long time. Just looking at it, riding it, I don't get that same sense. And I know a lot of that is just in my head. There's been a lot of people with super high miles on their bikes, but it's not something that I should have to worry about for a very long time. We have Black Hawk Down coming through here. Keep up with the air filter, keep up with the oil filters, plural, and these bikes should run for a very long time. One thing I just gotta get over is being afraid of the road. I just put a new rear tire on. I'm trying out the Motaz Tractionator Enduro ST. Overall, I've been really impressed with the tire so far. For the price, it's performed very well. But whenever I get fresh tires on there, I just don't want to touch the road. And that's a reason why I bought this over the 300, was to do some road riding. So I don't know if any of you can relate to that, but it's just something that I gotta get over. Bought this bike for a reason, so I want to use it as such. But at the end of the day, it was a big investment, so at a point I did have a little bit of buyer's remorse, but all it takes is one ride on some of my other lesser performing machines to make me appreciate this thing again. So overall, I am happy with the bike, and I gotta give a shout out to AOMC because we got a box full of goodies, and we're gonna be throwing some trick parts on this thing, and we're really gonna be able to beat up on it. So for now, the FE350 isn't going anywhere. I don't know what Lex is gonna do. That's up to her. I've tried to guide her as much as I can. She's kind of in limbo as well. But yeah, for now, white gold is sticking around, baby. But I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Be sure to hit that like button if you did. It really helps out the channel. Check out some of my last few uploads. You will definitely get a kick out of them. And let me know what you want to see next. But until then, live free and adventure daily.